Okay, so today for this level, I wanted to talk about batch recording. I don't. So, batch recording is one of the most efficient ways of making videos because it is just the process of taking the recording process for multiple videos and putting it in one session, which is fine. You know, it's smart, it makes sense, right? But I wanted to talk about what those benefits actually were and whether or not you can benefit from them. So batch recording, as I just explained, is just recording multiple videos at the same time, which is fine. It makes sense, right? You have it, now you just gotta edit it. And for established creators and established channels, that makes sense. And maybe if you don't do a ton of editing, it might make sense too. But from my experience as a learning creator, the biggest downside that nobody ever seems to talk about is, let's say you were to batch record. You record for 2 hours, let's say that's just 1 or 2 videos. And you're like, cool, I can now start making those videos. You spent those 2 hours, spend a ton of time planning out what those videos were, and you go to edit them, and you notice that the audio was broken. In this case, you only lost 2 videos, but a lot of times, especially as gaming, you tend to record way more. Several hours worth of content that you've reacted to a lot of times, that like you can't do your raw reactions, but now they're just gone because you didn't triple check the audio. And so that's one downside. Just errors are easier to slip through. So the next time you batch record, you go and you check your audio. You make sure it's all there. Your microphone's working, everything's working good. And so you then start the recording. And this time you finish the recording, you go in to edit it, and you edit the first video out. You know, you think it's great, you think, there's some issues, but they're fine. And then you start the second video, and you notice it has the same issues that you know you could have prevented or fixed had you not recorded it that same day. You know? And in this case, it could be any kind of issues like, trying to think. Like you're too quiet or something, like how you were talking was too quiet. Not just that, like, the audio is too quiet, but like you were a little bit tired that day. You're like, I shouldn't have recorded that many videos. I was tired. They're all kind of meh. Or you realize after the fact that your idea for that video wasn't the best, you know? Because that first video you made from that session, you kind of tried to deal with what you can. And that's a lot of creating, is just dealing with whatever you have. But you're like, I should have changed some things in the execution, you know, did more intros, a different type of intro, an outro, anything, you know? And you just can't do that now. You have several more videos from that day that you recorded with that same mentality that now you just kind of have to deal with it. No intro? I guess try to post-record it, but oh wait, your audio changed between sessions. That happens, and now it sounds really obvious. So, as a small creator, until you know and like work out a lot of the kinks, I would actually recommend more of recording 1 video at a time, and if you have to batch, maybe 2 videos. But like, don't do too much, especially early on, until you know that you have a workload that can, like, a schedule or something that can handle that workload. Because as a small channel, you don't have a team to help you. And since you don't have a team, you have to go through all of that stuff on your own. And when you're going through it on your own, you notice all these issues. And it bothers you a lot more than it would someone else, I think. I feel, at least. When you know that you messed something up and you could have fixed it, but you didn't, it kind of bothers me. And the reason why this is an issue is because as humans, we are always learning, and the learning process is involved in every single step of the process. Not just one part of it. And if you think that you're only ever learning from one part of it, then I guarantee you that there is something you're missing. Because if you are a content creator, if you like making videos, there are things you are overlooking. Because we are all biased, especially early on what we're looking at, what we think is wrong, might not actually be the wrong part. You might think it's your performance, when in reality it's just that the performance wasn't edited fine. So the performance itself was alright, but it's just you wasn't in the best circumstances. Best, like, context, that's it. And it's just like one of those things when I fully believe that it is better to be decent at every aspect of it, because it's easier to be okay at a bunch of things than it is to be godly at one. And I think that's a bad habit a lot of people try to get into, is being like, well, if I can just... I'm not a good editor, so if I can just learn to perform better, then I would always make good videos because my performance carries the rest. But then you're missing out on the rest of the performance. Like, your performance isn't being properly adhered or, like, properly used to its full extent. There's so much more that you could have elevated that performance with a little bit of better editing. And so someone else is going to come along with a worse performance, worse comedy, worse jokes, whatever, and better editing skills, and they're going to perform better because they knew how to apply their skills in a slightly better way. So I generally think it is way better to learn to do everything. You can learn to do one piece at a time. That's fine. But keep your mind open onto what might actually be causing your issues. Look at all the pieces, everything that could be potentially wrong. Because you tend to overlook random things, especially when you don't know what to look for. And that's why I generally don't like batch recording, because it makes me feel less passionate about what I'm doing. Because I get really into, like, the first video, and then I'm like, cool, now I know this didn't work out, I want to fix that. And I go to edit the next video that I've already recorded, and I'm like, I don't like this one much, because it reminds me of the problems that I just found. Look at my Lethal Company videos, for instance. In fact, in general, I still have this problem where I'm not doing intros enough. And it's a really bad habit that I'm not sure when I fell into. Because intros are hard. But now I have so many more videos and so much more footage that I still need to get through. Because as of recording this, I have not finished parts... It's just part 3 is what it's going to be public. Because part 4 I'm merging into part 3 because of how long part 3 is taking. Which is a whole issue that I was having, where editing issues, it's a whole nother story for another day. So, but there's nothing I can do now. I have that stuff recorded. It is out there. It's done, and I can't re-record the stuff. Because that's gaming. Can't always re-record stuff. And it's just how it is. I'm dealing with that footage. I batch recorded all of Sonic Adventure. Still haven't finished editing that stuff because I'm not really feeling it anymore. Because when you batch record, it puts more on your plate. And so, naturally, as a person, you get different interests over time. And when stuff like editing takes so long to do, you want to move on to different things. Especially if the projects are too similar. And you kind of lose that freshness, almost. And if it's starting to feel samey to you as a creator, I can't help but imagine how samey it would feel to the viewer if everything you do is that same project, that same style of video, that same series. It gets old. So I think it's just like one of those things that humans aren't efficient. We are not made to be thoroughly efficient. And a batch recording is wholly dependent on being efficient. You need to be efficient with it because that is the most efficient method of recording, is to get it all done at once. So that way it's done and over with, and it is the most time-efficient use of your time for recording. Humans aren't efficient as a singular unit. Some people might be. Some people are more efficient, where they can, like, focus down and they just put it aside. They're like, yeah, whatever, I'm good. I know for next time I record, but I can deal with it now. But I know, personally, I need to be driven by passion, by feeling attached to the current projects. And I noticed at some point that if I feel like I'm being forced to do a topic or a video or project, that I don't like it anymore. I don't want to do it at that point. And then it's a job, because I don't want to do it. I want to do this other video, but now my brain is telling me we can't do that other video until we get this done, because it's right there. It's on our plate. We had this started first. And so, in a way, batch recording is, or can be, creatively stifling and limiting, because now you have a external pressure, because it is a physical object. It is now a file on your hard drive. It's a project that shows up on your editing software every time you open it up, and it doesn't matter what you do, it's always there until you finish it. And so it's eats at the back of your mind, saying, I need to do this. Oh, I still need to do this. So every time you're like, ooh, I really want to do this. I want to make this project. I want to make this mod and do a stream on it. And you're like, but then again, I have to do this other project still. I can't do that mod yet because I have to finish that Sonic Adventure footage. And so you just, in my case, I don't do either at that point, because now I've already bummed myself out. I wanted to do my new project, but I can't because I feel pressure to get the old ones done. And so I just don't do either, because oh, I can't do the new one because I have the old one. Oh, I don't want to do the old one. So my brain's just like, I would rather do nothing than work. I know I could, like, attach the longer hose for that, but that's too much work for now. And it's just one of those things that I'm like, I wish that I hadn't batch recorded so much. And it is tempting to batch record, and I say this like as if I don't do it anymore. I still do it a lot, and I don't want to, because I start playing a game, and my brain's like, I love this. I want to play more of this game. I want to record more. This was fun. Performing is fun. And I then record more because I liked it. And then I'm dealing with the editing in the future. I'm like, God, why did I record so much? And I know part of the problem is that I don't have the time to fully devote to all of these different projects. Because while my ADHD wants to go hopping from video to video, I need to spend large chunks of time on single videos. And especially if I'm recording a session and then I feel like, oh, I loved this whole bit that I did in the 3rd episode's footage. And then I'm like, I want to do that. But then I feel the need to tell myself, no, we can't do that moment until after we've done the first 2 videos, because otherwise it'll just be wasted time because it won't get posted. And it's a very strange experience, but I can't help it. Part of what killed my last drive to keep posting just a few months ago, when I was like being like, yeah, I'm gonna do weekly Lethal Company videos. I was going to do that, and then I corrupted my file, which is what happened with Lethal Company 3. I guess I'll just go into detail on that now just to get it over with. I had this whole issue where I had gotten up and I set my headphones down. I knew I forgot that post. I set my headphones down on my desk, and it landed on, I believe, the F5 key. And what that key does in DaVinci Resolve, I could be wrong about which F key it was, but it goes and pastes whatever you have currently selected in the timeline. So it kept copy and pasting a full session's worth that I didn't know I had selected into my timeline. And by the time I got back, it was like 4 days long of a timeline. And since it was that long, DaVinci didn't know what to do with it, and it kept crashing. And so I almost lost this entire video, which I had legitimately done a second draft on. This was my second version. It was almost finished. All I had left to do were some finishing touches, and I almost lost it all. It was a whole day's worth of editing that I had almost had to throw away. And it took me like 4 hours to get it ported off of DaVinci Resolve into Adobe Premiere, where I could then finish it. And I had to, like, clean it up, because it wasn't, not everything ports over with the XML file. So that was a really annoying process that I had to do. That's not fully related to the batch recording necessarily, but it is technically a batching issue where it was because I had so much other stuff going on in that project that I almost lost it all. And I don't put my headphones down on my desk anymore. They have a hook. But it's just, I need to be able to do what my brain wants to do. And it's really hard to do that. I need to give it the space to choose what it wants to do. And batch recording does not allow me that space. It allows for some convenience, because I like to record, I like to do the performing aspect of it is very fun to me now. I never expected it to be one of the parts I enjoyed more, but now I really do enjoy it. And it's just kind of a shame that with my own current brain, it doesn't like that much, because it wants to do what it wants to do, and I need to let it do what it wants. Sometimes I need to tell it no, but when it comes to things like creation, I need to let it take control. And that's a hard thing to do, because when you have all these files sitting in your program, you know how much you have to do. It's an added stressor. You have it there on your plate to do. It's not just a plan, something that you kind of want to do. It is now something you have to do. And that's when I can't do it anymore. So just keep that in mind. If you want to batch record, make sure that you yourself can actually follow through with the second step. Because if you already struggle to follow through with the second step, then it's not a good idea to batch record. Because recording takes up space. If you don't have a lot of space, you can only do a few videos at a time. If you can only do a few videos at a time, and you're batch recording because you want to record, not to edit, now, at some point, you're going to cap out your hard drive. You're going to run out of space, and then you can't do either. You can't, like, not either. You can only edit at that point. So the part that you enjoy the most, you can no longer even do because of hard drive and technology limits. And you don't always have the money to just go and buy another hard drive, and then what's that going to do? Now you just have more footage that you need to edit at some point. So it's just not the best advice that, or not the first advice I would give someone. I feel like at a level, a lot of people want to do that because they hear other people do it. They're recording sessions. I need to record a whole session of this so that way I can spend all of tomorrow editing. But then you start actually editing and you realize sometimes that session might take you all day because you don't know fully what you're doing when you're small, at least. I didn't mean to draw a dick there. That was an accident. And so if you don't have like a good process in line for the second step, it doesn't matter how efficient your recording was. Because now you just have all that footage and the inability to follow through with it. Now, not everybody's a gamer, so in non-gaming circumstances, batch recording makes a lot more sense, especially if you have a set. If you have a set that you only have for a certain amount of time, then it does perfectly make sense to prioritize batch recording. You have less to lose in that circumstance, because usually people who have a set like that are doing shorter videos. They're doing more advice type videos, more talking head type stuff, or whatever. I think that's the terminology. And it's just, it makes sense for them. But as a gamer, or someone who makes longer videos even, which I don't even make super long videos, I'm trying to bump them up a little bit again. But you don't always got that time. And it takes you way longer for each video, because you got to make so many of them. And then you start feeling pressured, and you start cutting corners to get it all out of the way, because you're like, I'm done with this. I hate this game now. I liked playing it, now I'm really annoyed that I'm still working on it. And you get it over with, and then it's done, and then you go back in the future, and you realize those videos kind of suck. Not just because of the flaws from the recording session, but because of you getting like stressed out by it or annoyed by it, and your stress is apparent in your creations in ways that you don't really get. That's when you start posting videos with mistakes, errors in the edit. You know, you forgot to cut a scene, or you cut out something important because you were rushing, and now it's just too late, it's public, and it's over with. And you just have that stain on your portfolio, on your channel, saying, this is my quality. And so if you have a team, perfect. Batch edit all you want, because then it's faster to get around to. Someone else can help you edit. while you're doing the first episode or whatever episode you want, your team could do other things. I don't have a team, so I can't do that. And I feel like the biggest mistake small channels do is mimicking the big channels. Thinking if the big channels do it, then so can I. But the big channels can get away with doing a lot more stuff. They can afford to do a lot of stuff because they tend to have people helping them because they have an established channel and income that they can hire someone to help them with. And not everybody has like a friend that's like really good at like one thing and willing to spend a ton of time doing that thing for you for free. So it's... batch recording is one of those things that you just can't... It benefits teams, and it benefits people with more limitations, which are usually people with teams, because they have people on payroll, people who are getting paid hourly. And it's just, you don't have that. Same thing goes for, like, certain titles and stuff. A lot of, like, big creators will go and, like, do simple, short titles, like, streaming now, and get, like, 1,000+ viewers. Or 1,000, sometimes millions of different things, if they just do, like, one thing, like, haha, or fart. Any big channel could name their videos those, and gain views, because people are like, oh, this channel... click this. You can't do that. You can't go and post a video called Fart and get thousands of views. And I know because I have some shorter videos that I only did because I thought they were funny. They weren't even intended to grow, so I don't care that they didn't grow. Named art.wav, art.mp4 or something like that. I don't know. And it's just funny because it's a fart joke. And I think it's funny. Don't expect it to grow, but I see a lot of small channels posting videos with short titles that don't explain entirely what they're doing, because that's what their favorite creator does. And then that tends to frustrate you, and you eventually stop. I've seen so many small creators give up. Stop posting because they weren't growing, because they weren't actually fully learning the deeper aspects of what they are doing. And they're trying to act like they're a big creator, assuming that the views would come along the way. But channels like Markiplier and Moist Critical, for instance, can do whatever they want. They can post anything and get views, because they are Markiplier and Moist Critical. They don't get views, necessarily, strictly because of the topic of the video at that point, because they are a topic of their video, and they themselves are a notable topic. So they can do whatever they want, because they have the natural benefit of it being them. But when you're a small channel, I don't know who you are. You don't know who I am. Why should you care about anything I say? And like, why should you care if I make a video called "This is the scariest game I've played"? Who am I? I don't know. You don't know me. You don't know if I even play scary games, right? Like, there's no reason for you to click that. There are other ways to do that specific title that could work better. Like, this is the scariest game you'll play this year. That might get you more views, because now it's about them. They know the scariest games they've played. They know what their tolerances are, what they like. And so, if now they're not comparing it to my taste, they're thinking about their taste. Because this isn't me saying, I think that you'll be scared by this game. Or this is me saying, I think you'll be scared by this game. Not, I was scared by this game. Markiplier can say, I have never been so terrified in my life. And now, He'll get thousands of views. You'll be like, oh, it's Markiplier. He plays horror games a lot. And then they'll watch it because of him. To watch him get scared. But you don't have that draw as a small channel. And even the big channels, I don't think should be following that kind of advice. Just because they can, I don't think that they should. I don't like necessarily making things about being optimal, but it is a sub-optimal move. You don't want to make something like that because it limits you. Because then it makes you seem kind of selfish or vain if you were to make things about, oh, I've never been so scared. Granted, I'm still small, so take everything I say with a grain of salt. I just want to give my thoughts on things that I see that kind of frustrate me at times. Because I'm learning, and as I'm learning, I want to be able to tell people this stuff, but half the time I can't, or couldn't. So I tend to go on rants to people I know in real life, and so that's what I'm using this game to do, is to go on rants. To try to help people, because it gets really frustrating how many small channels I see, and it's really irritating to me that I'm like, no, not like that. So I would recommend, if you were to batch record, only do so when you know that you can finish the projects, or that you are okay with throwing that project away. Which I know sounds sacrilegious, almost. It sounds horrible to say, like, throw it away. Why would I do that? I recorded that. And that is the sunk cost fallacy. Because now you are stuck. You spent all this time recording it, so now you feel the need to edit it. You don't like it anymore, though. In fact, you probably might not have even liked it in the first place, but you already spent this much time. That's why you tend to play certain games that you hate, that you're like, I hate this game so much, it sucks. Why are you playing it? Well, I've spent this long playing it now, I can't give up. I spent all this money on it, right? So it's out of your hands now. You're already this far. We tend to like to see things through. Can I give the ladder? Thank you. I was pressing E on accident. And it just doesn't really work out very well if you don't know what yourself are capable of. So if you're just starting to do YouTube or any kind of creation, doesn't even have to be YouTube, anything, I highly recommend that you dip your toes in first. Don't dive in to the part that you know the most. Dip your toes in, do one video. Make it, finish it, do another video after that. And the reason I'm saying is to make one is just so that way you have it done with, you learn some of the obvious stuff from that one. And keep making single videos until you're out of obvious stuff. Once you're out of the obvious stuff, you can start thinking of batch recording. But keep your eye out along the way for less obvious stuff. Anything that's like starts to get into the niche territory of being like, what could improve this? So when you're making your first videos, any video actually, not even just your first videos, if you're making a video, look for what could improve it. And you won't always be able to tell what would improve it off the bat. But sometimes you will. And so try to look into, what can I do about that? But I honestly, and the argument to that would be, but consistency. Everybody says, all these advice channels I watch keep saying, post consistently. Make videos, post them weekly, and stick to that schedule. I have to batch record to hit that. And I think when you are in the learning phase, that there is no reason to worry about consistently posting. You're not making consistent videos. If your videos aren't consistent, why is your upload schedule? You should focus on first getting your videos to a consistent standard of quality by learning everything that you can before you start worrying about posting more often. Still try to stick to a schedule if you can, but if you need to push it off a little bit, don't feel bad. You noticed that there was something wrong, so you need to fix it. Every video that I've posted that I knew there was something wrong with, that I still posted it anyway, I regret. Like Voodoo Vince, I regret those videos. They were a request from a friend. I liked the game, it was fun, but I had messed up my recording for the first session, and I posted it anyway. And it quickly became one of my most disliked videos because the quality was so shoddy. It was bad. And that was because I wanted to try to be consistent. And I honestly think, as a small channel, upload consistency is overhyped and almost a scam. Because you don't want that. You don't want to start posting for an algorithm when you're learning how to create videos for yourself. If you are learning for the algorithm, you're not doing it because you want it like that. You're doing it because you think that this robot would recommend other people to watch it. And so I want to highly stress, if there is something that you don't want, it is thousands of people seeing a video you're not proud of. Because it's not just a signal to the algorithm saying that I'm consistent. It is a video that people could see. And if the algorithm does decide to push that one, instead of the ones that you posted around it, they're going to find your channel. They're going to watch it and say, that was horrible. I'm never doing that again. That was bad. Don't recommend channel. And you very well likely will look back and go, ugh, why'd I post that? Why'd I do this one? And it's already too late. You damaged your reputation before you even had one. First impressions, everyone always says first impressions matter the most. They're the most important type of impression is first impressions. So almost every video you make needs to be a example of what they could find on your channel. And if you're posting bad videos because you're trying to be consistent, they will assume you make bad videos. And it is not very complex after that. It's as simple as that. Just don't post a bad video because you want to be consistent. It's just dumb. And announcement videos saying that, hey, no video this week, serve no purpose either. That's just a filler. It doesn't exist, doesn't do anything. It kills your retention because people are like, whatever, I don't care. Basically, what I'm saying for this last bit of that tangent was one of the most common advices that's go around is post as many videos as you can and you'll learn along the way. And that is almost true. I don't think it is the full picture because there's one simple thing that you don't realize. If you are posting that many videos, they all have to be distinct. They all have to be different videos. That is the only way that advice does anything. Is if you are doing something different each time. Learning something new each time. So if you are doing that, you're trying to make as many videos as you possibly can to learn along the way, you have to make as many unique videos. Not as many as you can, just as many unique videos as you can. Because I would argue that the Let's Play channels that record 3 hours of gameplay and cut it into, let's say, 2 or 3 episodes every hour. So 3 episodes every hour. Like how when I started, I did 20-minute videos was my goal. Was to record for an hour and cut it into 3 20-minute videos. You know what I learned from those 20-minute videos? Absolutely nothing. It wasn't until I started trying to edit, because I had some ideas that were fun. Because at that point, my editing was just cutting the beginning and endings off of the file to make it cut down a little better. So they didn't have like that minute of silence at the beginning from when I'm clicking record. And it didn't work. You don't learn anything. So if you do that, you record 50 episodes, or 50 hours of footage, you record it, cut it, 20-minute videos, you have 150 videos that you've learned nothing from. You would honestly learn more recording for an hour and then making that the video, cutting it down, seeing what you can change, doing something about it, finishing it, posting it, you're done. Next video, come up with an idea, think of what game you want to play or whatever, and make it. Repeat that step. Just make that video and then you're done. You learn way more than that other channel that posted 150 20-minute episodes ever could. Because they're not actually editing. They're not learning anything about the editing process. They're just cutting it into 20-minute sections. And it takes you 5 minutes to learn how to cut a video. You're done. You cut the beginning and end. Cool. You learned the snip tool. That's great, but you know nothing else. And you need to be curious. You need to be able to think, ooh, what if I did this? What if I used music in the next video? Make that video, post it, cool, you're done. You learned what you could. Maybe you didn't like what happened. That's fine. You know what not to do. But you tried it. That's what matters. Is you tried that new edit that you were thinking of. What if I did this? So you do it. Sometimes you make an edit in a video and then you realize, that came out bad. That did not work, and then you delete it from that video, which is fine. It doesn't all need to be publicly available. That's just kind of like the first step of trying to aim for that consistency of uploads, is just posting it when you can. To be like, hey, I made this, look at my progress, look how far I've come. And maybe someone's saw your first video and thought, you know what, there's some promise here. I'm going to stick around to watch the journey. And so you post the next video. Every now and then they might check in, see how you're doing, and then see, ooh, I noticed that J cut there. That was good. Smart edit. You know, stuff like that. Ooh, I barely noticed that cut. He's learning. Stuff like that is massive. So just learn what you can. Try to, if you can read books on it, read books on it. You don't have to, though. All you can do is watch other YouTubers talk about the stuff. Do it. That's another opinion. But you need to vary who you're listening to. You can't just choose one guy. It has to be different people. And if you find even if you find the one guy that's really good, he might be listening to these other people too. So if they say that they were watching someone, check out their stuff, see what they have to think. But don't take what they say as gospel. Don't take it as like the hard truth. Like that's the final solution, is this guy's ideas. Because they could be the final, but when you're dealing with creation, it is a personal project. Every time, every creation you make will be personal to you. Nobody else could do it like you. Ow. That book idea that you have, and you write it, you find out someone else wrote it too, but still write it anyway, because why? You came up with it too. And yours might be better. You don't know. You don't know fully until after you've done it whether or not it's better. But people, as long as you don't copy the other person, won't care that it's a similar topic half the time unless it's like too spot on. And even then it's like, hey, you know what? Great minds think alike, right? So if you are making a video and you see Small Ant or Point Crow have already made it, don't worry. Post it anyway. Because sometimes those types of creators will see what you did with the similar idea and go, I never thought of it that way. Try to do a twist. Add something to it. Take it, remix it, do whatever you want. If you're already working on it, especially, that's even better. Parallel thinking. That's how you make connections. So it's just one of those things that you need to make them all unique. And batch recording doesn't let you do that. Unless you work in this other... No, that's not how to say it. Unless you basically have a ton of different types of videos and then batch record them like that, then that's fine. Because then you will go through your videos like, I didn't like that one. That one wasn't the best. But that doesn't matter because the second one that you recorded that day wasn't like that. So if you batch record, make them unique. Sounds almost counterintuitive. You want to like dedicate yourself to one style for a bit, right? To really test it out. But sometimes you can tell when a style is bad. You can tell when it doesn't work. If your gut is saying, I don't like this, don't do it. Not just your anxiety. If your anxiety is telling you, I don't like this, maybe ignore that guy. He sucks. He's a nerd. He's a loser. Anxiety is dumb. He's not worth paying attention to. Half the time. Sometimes he gives some points. But a lot of times it's just you protecting yourself. It's your brain saying, I'm scared of posting this topic. I am scared of trying this thing. What if I put songs in my video and the audience hates me and everybody unsubscribes? Will that happen? Probably not. Because that's a little bit overdramatic. But that is the type of fear that you get. What if they don't like it? What if this kills my channel? Who cares? You're not posting anyway, right? Even if you are posting, are you growing? Probably not. At least not much. And the worst thing you can do? The worst thing that'll happen if you change up your style? You go back to that style an episode or two later that you were doing before, that you were getting growth on, to see if it gets views again. If it gets more views, cool. Then you know you're onto something. You were doing something wrong with your new experiment. And so you have a starting point now. So I think since I'm almost done with this, because it's just this roof, right? Oh, and over there. You just need to try to optimize things for your brain. Not for the algorithm. Make it for you. Make it so that you are stimulated, you are learning, you're having fun along the way, doing what you want to do because you want to do it, and then maybe after that adjusting it to grow. Because I am a firm believer that the audience knows what they like, and they will watch what they like, and they know when someone is being honest and legitimate as to who they are. Audiences can tell when you don't like what you're doing. When you post a video that you didn't like recording, it's obvious that you didn't like to be there in ways that you aren't consciously aware of. Basically, just do what you can to learn what you can. Don't worry about algorithms, don't worry about the systems. Batch if you have to. But if you don't have to, I would recommend not batching. Save the fun parts for later every now and then. You can start off every production day, you can start off recording if you want it. That's fine. Technically, I guess that would be batching if you can do that. Because that's not saying you have to edit one video every day, but sometimes that's what gets you into the system, is recording. So sometimes, go ahead, record another session. Do what you want. because it's easier to get yourself into it if you like to record. But if you don't like recording, and you like editing, and you kind of get stressed by recording, edit first, then record. Keep something for yourself, the fun part for later. Because when you're recording, if you like to do that, you feel the need to record more. And you want to do more because you like it. Posts? And the worst thing that you can do, what's this post? Is run out of the part that you like, so you only have the last part that you don't. Until you do like that. So I'm hoping you got something out of this ramble. Because this is something I've been thinking about for a while, and I do feel really passionate about that. So let me know what your thoughts are on all these topics, from the batching to... I think I did a good job of staying mostly on topic. I think I only went off topic a few times. Next rant will have to be a long one that's on the playground. Because we have finished the other stuff. But now we have the next power washer. Right? Yeah. That didn't go through. Now it went through. Okay. Yeah, next time we play, we will be doing the playground with our new power washer that we've just unlocked. I guess I could have bought this technically a little bit earlier, too. Oh, interesting. Okay. Anyway, I will see you in the next rant video. Thank you for watching this. Let me know what you think about what I was saying and what you think I should give my thoughts on next time. I really want to leave these as a more open-ended discussion because I like talking about this stuff. It's very fun to me to research all this. Yeah, I will see you next time.